Hi guys, thanks for choosing to watch my speed building video today. I hope you're having an amazing day, whatever your plans are and whatever you've been up to so far. So today I'm building in the world of Copperdale. The lot that I'm going to be building on isn't the one that I start off on. If you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I often try and start on a smaller built lot, and then I just keep expanding and expanding the build until eventually I think, yep, I'm going to have to move to a bigger lot, and that is what happened in this case yet again. So eventually I will move this to a 30 by 30 lot, but it will still stay in the world of Copperdale. I wanted, well, with this house, if I'm honest, it started with completely different intentions to what it turned out as. I'd initially been thinking of building like a small sort of Victorian style cottage kind of building, and we ended up with a coastal family home. But sometimes that's just what happens when you start building in this game, and things take a total different turn than you would have expected. But hey, I'm happy with how this one turned out in the end. So the lot will cost 140,000 simoleons on the gallery if you do wish to download it. It has 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. What I mean by that is that you've got an upstairs main family bathroom and then just a toilet with a sink on the ground floor. We've got a kitchen, a dining room, a lounge, a tool room, a laundry room, a dog wash room, and then a back garden that's filled with heaps of different activities for the family. So yeah, so the to add some clarity as to a couple of the rooms, the tool room is just featuring this incredible tool wall that somebody has uploaded onto the gallery. I will find their name and add it into the description of this video if you want to download this tool wall for yourself. Because there is quite a lot of shrubs and flowers and landscaping going on around the back of this building in particular, I thought it would make sense that they would have some gardening tools and just general tools as well. So that's included in one of the little spare rooms in this house. And then with a dog wash room, what I've done with this, I've just used a bathtub it's like a bath shower combo from the Growing Together expansion pack. And my idea being that this family will have a dog, and if they've been and taken him out on a walk and he's come back in with muddy paws, the easiest thing to do will just be to pop him into this tub and wash all the mud off of the dog. So we literally have a designated space for that in this house, but I think it's really cute. And yeah, as you can see at the moment, I'm just working on the shell of this house. Like I said, it took a totally different turn from what I'd initially intended, but then I decided to opt with like the thatched style roof and sort of blue and white coastally colours. So the house that this, sorry, not the house, the family that this house is for, I don't have a massive storyline for them. It's just quite simple in that it is for 2 parents, 2 daughters. I imagine that one of them is a child and one of them is a toddler. And like I said earlier, their dog. So the parents aren't in like any specific careers, so you're not going to see like career specific furniture or awards and whatnot around this house. I wanted to keep it pretty generic so that you could just move your Sims family straight in there. Realistically, you're not going to have to like create, I don't know, like a veterinarian or a police officer or something like that. You can just have your family as they already are and move them straight in if you wish. So yeah, and what I'm doing at the moment then, I'm just working still on the outside of the house. The roof was a bit of a faff in its own right, and I don't know if I'm 100% happy with how it turned out. It's one of them. I am and I'm not. Like I shared this post to this build to Reddit, and someone had commented amongst a load of other nice comments, and this one was absolutely fair enough too. Like, it was very constructive. She said some lovely things, the person did, but then also mentioned that she wasn't quite sure on the roof. And now I've looked back at it, I don't know if I am either, but of course, if you did wish to download it, you can always change any of my builds however you wish, however you see fit, be that the structure of the house or anything on the interior, to adapt it to your preference and Sims family. I keep the landscaping fairly simple at the front. As you can see, I'm just building a path at the moment. The path on the right side I do eventually decide to get rid of and just keep the one on the left. And then I've just added some shrubbery around the stairs leading up to the porch. Oh, also, I did actually forget to mention the final room that this house has, and that is an attic. Now, I rarely seem to build attics or lofts, I suppose, as they would be more so called in the UK where I'm from. But I do just think it is such a cool and different idea to add into family homes, and it's definitely something that I plan on doing more often. One of the people that commented on the build on Reddit did say, that they thought that it was a better idea than trying to shove all of their Winterfest decorations into the family inventory after the holidays had passed. And you will see that's what I've done with the Winterfest decorations, or at least a few bits and bobs from there, like a Christmas tree. I just popped them up into this room. And yeah, I do think it would be better than trying to just pop them all into your family's inventory, because it makes it look more realistic. Because let's face it, what you would actually do when Christmas is over or whatnot, you would, well, unless it was a real tree, of course, but if you've got an artificial tree like we do in my household, we'd pop it back up into the loft along with all the tinsel and baubles and whatnot. And then also there's a few other things like just old furniture that hasn't been chucked away yet, and that kind of thing that's up there. And I just think it adds that really realistic touch, but you'll see that towards the end of the build, because as I was building it I did actually forget that I'd made this room in the first place, and then when I remembered I was really happy. Yeah, so a couple of the other things that are like my favourite touches in this house are the custom vanity that I've made in the bathroom. I'm gonna wait to talk about it properly till you guys can see it as the video is progressing, but it is functional and it's really different and really unique and just really rustic and sort of countryside cottagey kind of vibes, as is the rest of this house, so I feel like it fits in really well. And the other thing that I'm the happiest with is the daybed. I think that's what you would call it realistically. It's like a daybed situation thing that I made in the living room. Again, I'll talk more about it when we get to that point of the video. But yeah, so at the moment I'm just working on the back garden. As this is a family house and the parents here have got 2 small children, I wanted to make sure that the back garden was filled with lots of fun things that they can do, especially during the warmer months. So I've created it's intended to look like a little paddling pool. Now that we've got the round pool feature in the game, this is perfect for making little small paddling pools like this one. And then I've just put some stairs leading up to it so that your Sims can climb in and out of the pool. Also did to make it was I just used the round pool platforms, pieced them together to make the circle, and then raised the foundation up. And then I've kind of coloured the foundation in such a way that I've tried to make it look, as if it's a paddling pool rather than more of an actual pool, if you know what I mean. And then I've used I think it's from the base game, the water decor, to just make it look like loads of the leaves from the surrounding trees have fallen into the water, because let's face it, if you have ever had a paddling pool set up in your garden, that water never stays crystal clear for too long when there's leaves and bugs and whatnot kicking about. And I have surrounded that paddling pool area with a tree and some shrubs and flowers and stuff, so I feel like it would be realistic that those leaves would have ended up in the pool and given it a little bit more of a kind of murky colour, if you will. Also in the back garden I've got a couple of sun loungers. We've got like a dining table set with the parasol. That is from the new Riviera retreat kit. I say new, it's been out a wee while now, but it's the newest kit that I got my hands on, and I just think it's amazing. I really like that one. I feel like it's really versatile, and the swatches in it can lend themselves into like a lot of different build styles quite nicely. I've also got a, like, is it a tent? It's kind of like a tent thing made out of sheets from the little campers kit. I think that's so cute for a family when they've got children to have up in the back garden. We've got a little slide for the toddler and some swings for the child, along with the sort of homemade projector kind of thing with the little campers kit, so that the kids can sit out on the picnic blanket in the back garden and watch a film of an evening. There's a bench just beside it as well, so the parents can sit there and supervise them. And then within the tent, I've even put like a couple of little sleeping bags. My idea being that they can sit out under, well, sleep out rather, under the stars at night. If they want to sort of go camping in the back garden, if you will. That is definitely something I did once or twice when I was younger, and it was a lot of fun. In the front garden now, I'm just going to make the finishing touches. I like to add a couple of the wheelie bins out front. I just think that lends to the realism quite well. And yeah, I'm creating like I've used a fountain rather. I think it's just a base game one. And then just surrounding it with some shrubs to just make it look that bit prettier and more of a kind of standout piece within the garden. I'm adding a couple of bits of furniture, like a couple of benches to the porch and a doormat. Again, that just adds to the warmth and cozy feel of the build, in my opinion. And then I'm just adding a few more shrubs and flowers in surrounding the trees in the front. I will be moving on to do the floor plan just shortly. Oh my goodness, but first look at this, right? So this is a stroller, and I believe the person that it's made from in the gallery is called Art Simology. Again, I will add his or her EA ID to my description, but I found this that they made, and obviously if you've heard me speak before on my videos, you'll perhaps know that I do play on console, which obviously comes with a range of disappointing limitations, shall we say, but I try my best to work with what we have. And thankfully what we do have is access to the gallery, where we can download things that some wonderful PC creators have made. So obviously, well, I say obviously, you might not know if you're only a console player, but on PC there's something called the tool mod, and a lot of PC players will use this to rotate and resize items. And often what you'll see them do is to take items and put like little individual items. A lot of them will often be from debug and the like, and they'll put them sort of together to form a new object, and it's usually something that we haven't got in the game already. So in this case, what Artsimology, I think is the name, did, they used a heap of different random objects which they'd moved and rotated and resized with the tool mod to form a stroller or a buggy or a pram, however you want to word it. And I just thought that was absolutely adorable, and it's something that realistically, why didn't we get that with the Growing Together pack? You know, it's perfect for family-based gameplay. If you've got toddlers or infants, it makes sense that you would have a pram or a stroller in your household. So yeah, I'm really thankful to this person for creating this stroller for me, because I just thought it was a really nice touch to this build, and again added to the realism, given that I've got the house is built for a toddler. So I've just been getting back to what I was doing, at least. That was the kitchen. I love this little kitchen. I'm very prone to using dark colours in my builds, and I really try and break away from it every so often, because I think it's good to work with different colour schemes and just test you and put you out your comfort zone when you work in different colour schemes or styles that you're not used to. So I did do this one in white wood. I've used counters from the Island Living pack and cupboards from the Parenthood pack, and I think that it works surprisingly well actually in this kitchen. It kind of, the fact that they're slightly mismatched kind of adds to the rustic vibes. But I don't think they're too mismatched where it just doesn't work, if that makes sense. And the grey, white, and sort of blue colour scheme I felt was in keeping with the fact that this is a coastal home. And someone on Reddit, when I did share this, said that they loved how what I'm going to do. I was like, oh, how perfect timing was that? Usually I've forgotten to say things at the right time. But yeah, so they loved how I'd put the dog bowl, as you saw just then, in front of the big window in the kitchen, because they said, oh my goodness, the dog can look outside of the window whilst they're eating, and thought that was really cute. And in all honesty, I didn't even have that thought process when I was designing that room. I just had no other space for it to go. But once they said that, I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, that is too cute. And I was really happy that that just so happened to be the space that I've got left for their dog bowls. And yeah, I just thought that was actually an unintentional but really nice little touch to that room. I'm in the dining room now, and this kind of made me a bit nervous because with the way that the floor plan worked out, I needed to make it kind of like almost open planny, in the sense of you need to walk from the front of the house through the dining room to get to the back of the house where the stairs are to go upstairs to the bedrooms and the bathroom. And you also need to walk through the dining room to get to the kitchen and the living room. So yeah, almost open plan in a sense, and I don't understand these builders that can do fully open plan houses. It's not in my comfort zone. I do think that because I live in the UK, we don't have that many houses, at least not that I've been in, that are of an open plan design. Most of them are sectioned off into different rooms with therefore like different wallpapers and flooring within those rooms. And I suppose it's kind of what you know, isn't it? And to me, I know not open plan, I know sectioned off rooms. And I'm quite envious when I see people make these big open plan houses work. And I want to try and do it maybe at some point more so for myself. But for now, I do prefer having like sectioned off rooms, because then I feel like I can bring a character to the specific room. I've moved into the living room at the moment, and I really like what I did with this fireplace. You'll see that I used an arch, again that was from the Riviera Retreat kit, and I've used a fireplace from the Horse Ranch pack, and I've put the arch in place, and then I've deleted the wall just so that I could move the wall in front of and behind the fireplace, so that I could move it forward and backwards and slot it into position so that the shelf of the fire is just poking out through the arch. And I thought that was a bit different, and I like to be creative when I'm doing my fireplaces. I'll often try something different and try and make it work, and I do think in this case I was successful. What it did mean though is that I didn't really have much space for a big telly to go above the fire, so instead I just popped one which was a base game one that was sized up once onto I think it's an accent table just in the corner. And it's not ideal because ideally when you're watching telly you want it to be right in front of you and not have to crane your neck, but sometimes you just gotta make do. So yeah, I'm working on a little sort of custom mirror kind of design bit here at the moment, and I've just used a mirror from the Growing Together pack above an accent table from the Cottage Living EP, and then I've used some base game shelves sized down I think twice and lined them up adjacent to the mirror. I just thought it kind of made it look just a little bit less plain, and then I had a few bits of clutter into it just after. And now what I've just done is worked on the daybed design that I was mentioning. So I built a basement below in this 4x4 section of the room. Then I took I believe it was from the living chairs, the lounge chairs rather, living chairs, from the lounge chairs section, and I sized it up so it's kind of like a poof, I guess, originally. Sized it up so that it fit the section of that 4x4 part of the room, raised it up through the basement, and then I deleted the basement underneath. You do that by dragging the walls shut rather than just deleting the basement, else that would delete my poof ottoman thing on top. And then I've taken two like the long, almost kind of like chaise longy items, like a chair but with an extra bit in front of it from the Dream Home Decorator pack that your Sims can lounge on. I've taken them and fit them inside the poof that is now on the living room level. I've then and so basically, because the poof's been raised through the basement, I'm not really good at explaining these, I do apologise, but because the poof's been raised through the basement, the Sims don't react as if it's there. That's the case with any item that you raise up through the basement into the floor above. The Sims do not respond to it, basically. So what they're doing is sitting on the lounge chairs that I've put underneath. And because they're poking out just a little bit through the poof, you can click on them, click to lounge, nap, rest, whatever it is the Sims want to do on there, and they'll react by just sitting onto the lounge chair, which makes it look and turn like they're sitting onto the poof that has now become a daybed. I hope that makes sense. If it is unclear and you want to know more, just message me. I'll perhaps be able to explain it a little bit better in text than listening to me waffling on. But yeah, then I just finished sectioning off the area with a spandrel and popped curtains either side of it, added some magazines and one of the kids' toys into the daybed area to make it look as though they'd just been lounging on there and had just gotten up and left the magazine and whatnot. And then, like I said, I added some clutter onto the accent table and the shelves surrounding the mirror. I have, as well, as you'll see on the screen at the moment, sized down a divider. I think the one that I've used is from the Maximalist kit. I think that's what it's called, the Maximalist one. Sized it down and it makes it look like a fire guard, which again, because the family that's intended to live in this house has two small children, I thought that's pretty realistic. You know, you wouldn't want them getting too close to the fire, so having a guard up like that would make sense for realism's sake. I do think that it renders the fire unfunctional though, but that also might be because of the arch in front of it. Thinking about it, the arch from the Riviera Retreat, so you might have to just twist things about a little bit in the sense of the placement of the fire if you do want it to be functional. I think that's the only thing in this house that isn't functional, so I'm sorry, but I just really liked the way it looked, and to me it was worth sacrificing a functional fire for how pretty it ended up looking. So I'm just working on the little girl's room at the moment. So the idea is that the daughter and the toddler, they both share a room. So the child will be on the upper bunk, and then there's a smaller toddler bed on the bottom bunk in this room. I've decorated this just very, very generically for a couple of little girls, and you know, lots of pink, lots of light colours, lots of teddies, and just kept it, yeah, very, very girly and sort of stereotypical, I suppose, in a way. Yeah, but I think it looks really cute in the end. There's lots of toys in there and lots of activities for them to do. They've got bookshelves that they can read from. There's a toy chest, I believe, as well. There's also a desk. There is I want to say a dollhouse, but I think I put the dollhouse outside. But irrespective, there's still lots to keep the kids happy within their bedroom and in the outside garden. Yeah. Oh, I do just want to say as well, this video was intended to be out a lot earlier than it was. The house itself was built quite a bit before I've actually released this video, but we had some stuff going on now, the worst of it being that one of our pets went missing for a while, and it was actually for like a week, And I don't know if you guys have pets for yourselves, and if so, if you've ever, hopefully not, but if you've ever had to go through that process of one of them being missing. I'm absolutely delighted to say that we did get her back after a really long week, and she was totally okay. She was skinnier than usual, and she had lost some weight by obviously not eating anywhere near as much as she should have been over the course of that week. But other than that, she was absolutely fine, no injuries or anything. So me and my boyfriend are, and we're beyond grateful that she and delighted that she's okay and that we've got her home, because it is honestly one of the worst experiences that you can have, having to search for one of your missing pets, because they are like your babies, and that's, or at least that's very much the case for me and him. And we love all of our pets so much, and it was just the worst week going to. We were out searching for her day in day out. Through all hours of the day and night, we put up posters, we were speaking to neighbours, and yeah, it was a really stressful and emotional experience. But yeah, like I say, we got her back, and everything's okay now, and she's okay, we're okay, everything feels back to normal, and we're beyond happy to have her home. One good thing that did, well, one nice thing that did come out of the experience was we spoke to so many neighbours that we just never spoke to. Like, I know, like, perhaps maybe in our parents' sort of generations, definitely in like our grandparents' generations, I feel like it used to be a lot more common to speak with your neighbours, but it's not really something that, like, at least not around here. I don't know if it's different in other countries, but it's not really like a common thing to speak to your neighbours very much anymore. Like, everyone keeps to themselves. I reckon the situation that happened a few years ago maybe didn't help that either, if you know what I'm talking about, with the pandemic. But yeah, everyone seems to keep to themselves nowadays, and this situation did allow us to meet some really lovely neighbours of ours. So that was nice. But yeah, so anyway, that was a little bit of a ramble over, but just to explain why I've taken so long to get this video up. And yeah, so getting back to what I'm actually doing right now, I'm working on the parents' bedroom. I just created a small vanity for them using a base game mirror. Now, usually this mirror would snap to the wall, which is why you saw me deleting the wall behind it along with the roof pieces for a moment, shifted them out the way so that I could create like a custom mirror vanity thing that I think looked quite nice. And now I'm moving into the bathroom, which I love this bathroom. This is one of my favourite bathrooms I've made. It's very rustic, very horse ranch decor based, and includes the custom vanity that I was speaking of earlier. So you'll see what I've done. I've just taken the half cupboard piece from the horse ranch pack, sized it up once, and now I've attached it to a separate piece of wall. I've put one at the top of the wall and one at the bottom of the wall, and then I've picked that piece of wall up, flipped it round and put it into place where you see now. So then I've deleted the wall that was in front of those two cupboard pieces, and it's left the cupboards that were stuck on the wall but rotated round. So what you're seeing is like the back end of the cupboard. I love the horse ranch cupboards, the half piece in particular, for this reason, because they've got like a little arch to them, and I just think that shape is really cute and really unique and really rustic looking. So I've used, like I say, the half cupboard piece at the top and the bottom. Then I used a sink from Parenthood, the Parenthood game pack, and that is one that kind of snaps to the wall, I think. And when I first put it in, it was like one level too low, so it was kind of sinking into the cupboard piece from the horse ranch pack. And so I just raised the whole thing up on a platform. You'll see now with the white rim that that whole section is now on a platform. And I have been in and play tested this, and it totally works. It's functional, which, you know, is all the more makes me all the more happy with this one, because I built it for the look. The fact that it's functional is a huge bonus, and does mean that I will probably do this kind of look again in other builds now that I know that it is functional. But yeah, that was a bonus. I wasn't actually expecting it to. And I've just added in the tool wall that I was speaking about from the gallery. I can't remember this creator's name, but I will find them and add them to the description of the video. But look how cool that looks. It is just awesome. I love it, and I feel like again makes it really realistic for a family home, you know, for the dad's tools and gardening bits and bobs. I'm coming towards the end of the build now. I'm just working on the laundry room. This isn't the most creative laundry room I've ever done. It's just using fairly standard stuff from the laundry stuff pack, and in keeping with the light wooden themes and beachy themes that I've got throughout this whole house. But other than that, it's quite simple, it's quite neutral, and just serves the purpose of having the washing machine and the dryer. Obviously you don't have to play with laundry in your game. I've heard that some people do, well, find that a bit annoying and they're not fond of it, so obviously you could easily convert this room to have a different function if you want to, but I do enjoy building laundry rooms, and I do think they are cute, and so yeah, that is why that's there. And lastly now then, I'm just working on the dog wash room. As I said toward the beginning of the video, I've used a shower bath combo from the Growing Together pack, and just added a couple of bits and bobs in to make it a little bit more hopefully obvious that this is for the dog, although I'm saying that it perhaps isn't that obvious really. Thinking about it, there isn't really anything dog specific in here, but there's just a few towels. Towels I've used are from, I think, the bathroom clutter kit, and they're the ones that look like they're wet, which I thought again was a nice touch, because maybe the dog's just come in from a walk and he's just been dried off, and they've been left on the rail to, the towels have been left on the rail to dry off for themselves. And yeah, I just merged in the wall decoration. It's not a wall decoration, it's from the displays part of the catalogue, where from the cats and dogs pack, it Dominic, I can tell I'm getting toward the end of this video. My words are all getting jumbled up. So what I'm trying to say, we'll start that again. I've used it's like a decoration from the cats and dogs pack that has their dogs' leashes and collars on, and I merged that into another decoration from the cats and dogs pack that is kind of like a coat storage area. I usually just tend to hang those two pieces separately, but I thought it looked really cute, and yeah, that kind of framed the porch off nicely. And then lastly, like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm just doing the attic. So up here we've got some older out-of-date bits and bobs of furniture, a few things from the basement clutter kit. We've got what is intended to be the Christmas tree from Christmas Just Gone, and yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can see, I have moved on to the screenshots now, so I'll end this voiceover right here and let you watch the last few shots from this house. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this build. If you do wish to download it, it is on my gallery. My EA ID is miss_Asa. That will be in the description, along with all other info on this build. And yeah, I hope to see you again in my next video, which I can promise will be out a lot sooner. Alright, thanks so much. Bye.